All right, but now it's smaller anyway. Good. Welcome to this Wednesday with MDriven, number 1000 in the list of many. No, I don't know. Maybe we've been going for a while. And as I wrote in the updated invite, I would like to show the new functions with what we call SoftViews and what they are for and why we should want them and what problems they can solve for us. And basically it is only important if you're in a production environment that you don't want to disturb. That's quite often the case that once you have deployed, the hands off and don't restart anything or touch anything that drops the connections for the users, because that is really annoying, and the risk to lose data, of course, that they have unsaved, and also disturb their general working flow and spirit. So it's really important for the overall perceptions of any delivery to be consistent and be in 100% to have 100% uptime. But still, it's always like that you find minor tweaks that would be good to be able to do faster than waiting for a service window. And that has been an issue on every project that I've been working on for ages. And for the large project that I have been involved in, we introduced a way to actually separate the view model files from the main application. It was a VPF application, and we put the view models files that we wanted to override in a separate location on a common server. And then we had the VPF app, whenever it opened a window, check if there was a new version of this, or rather not whenever it opened a window, but when it started, check if in this folder if there were newer view model files than were in compiled with the app. And if it was, it loaded those and replaced those that was compiled in the app. And that gave us an ability to hand over soft view changes to users to solve minor nuances and issues that can arise once real users try to actually work. And that was very productive and very good. And of course there are dangers with this, that you can introduce soft view that's bad, and then you need to be able to revert and things like that. But moving to the web, we didn't sort of lost that ability, and immediately, since we were used to it, immediately that we started to use the web delivery mechanism, everyone in the team asked, how do we do soft views? And I said, we don't need it. We're gonna stick to the release windows. Well, that didn't fly. So we made some changes to support this ability. We're gonna demo it with the standard model, and to demo it properly, we need to use the MDriven server and the MDriven turnkey server to show it. So what I've done is downloaded the latest and put them here in server location 1 on my machine, and that will be installed in this file path. So I can just open that one to see how that looks. There's one MDriven server and one MDriven turnkey, and these are core servers. So there's the .NET Core framework along with this, so it's quite a few files here. But in the common app data for the MDriven server, we get some new things, and we will see how these change as I upload a new model. So I'm gonna start these servers are actually already running because I've started them before, so I'm just gonna check. Yeah, okay, now the current target server, I need to use this server, so I'm gonna just press that button and say that I'm gonna use localhost 5000. I'm gonna check server status. I'm gonna upload this particular model, and there were changes to the model that was there before. Good. And to get to the turnkey server of this, I can hit that link, and I hope it will start. I'm gonna double check that it runs, and apparently it doesn't run, so I'm gonna start. Now it runs. And the initial start time is when we, for turnkey, we pull the model from the MDriven server, check if it's new, and if it's new, we do a couple of things that I'm gonna go through. So I'm gonna create some data here in the running system. If I go in here and add some more things. Yeah, so assume that this is the view, and what happened now when we started this system was that if we go back to the server positions where they are on disk, firstly the MDriven turnkey server, which actually handles the UI, in its app data folder, we got a new updated file for this modular lean load checksum, and that's just a small file stating the checksum of, let's see if I can get this, a particular checksum for this model. And whenever the turnkey server restarts, it will check this file to see if compared to its internal memory, to see if there's a need for pulling the model again from the MDriven server. If it isn't, it will be a little bit quicker to start, and it won't have to do this other step, which is to resave the model that it has pulled from the MDriven server in this modular lean complete folder. So this is the complete model that is saved in an expanded format. So it will be a little bit quicker to restart after the first initial start. So that's good, particularly since probably the app will be running for a couple of weeks, and from time to time be restarted on when the app pool recycles, etc. And we don't want the lag of pulling the model and doing all the work. The other good thing that comes from this, or the opportunity that comes from this, is that the memory use of the turnkey server can be reduced, because it doesn't have to hold the memory or the model in memory. So, and that's a little bit decreased. Also, all the view models, when you have a huge system, these pile up and become quite many, like maybe thousands different views, and it's unlikely that all will be used by the users of the system during any given time. So what this what it does as well is to save a compressed model that actually removes the bulk of the definition in each view model, and that means that it's only the existence of the view models that are loaded from the start, and not their content. And as soon as a view model is actually requested, it will be pulled from this complete folder instead. And that makes an opportunity for us to actually replace these files with a newer version of that view. So that would mean that I could go to this view one thing and open it with the notepad even. Let's see, I'm gonna close the other files. Sometimes Notepad is really good, but sometimes it's annoying that it always remembers what was open from before. So let's see if I'm pointing on the right thing. Server, MDriven turnkey app data, modular lean complete. And if the view now looks like this, let's try to address this label. Suppose that we have got a complaint that label wasn't what it's supposed to be, and I don't really promote to change the XML files directly, but we can test this way first, and later we can test to change it via MDriven Designer. So this some datetime will be present here, and some date time. So there's that column, and the name of the column is some datetime, and we probably won't change that. And this is the expression, and over here somewhere we have the presentation string, and the presentation string is just expressed as bracket name and bracket, to say that it should take the camel case of the name. But we can change this to something else, to say hello here. And as I save this file, nothing really happens here. But if I were to refresh this, it will discover that the text file was updated on this location, and re-render the whole file. And of course, this makes it possible to do all changes to the view, as this was col span. How many columns should it span? It was 1 now, and if I were to, maybe it doesn't help to change that on a datetime picker because they are limited in their rendering. So I'm gonna instead say that the X position starts at 1. What if it would start at 3 instead? I'm gonna save that and hit refresh on this. And of course, the usual things that we need to fix after a release. Well, actually, there is no usual thing, but there are quite often that someone forgot to set the sort order on a combo box, or someone put things on top of each other without noticing it, or misalign things, and there could be any number of reasons. So we can also add functionality, of course, and if we were to work on in the view model editor, it's much easier to do the changes that we want to do. Maybe we forgot that we had a policy to always use placing containers, so that it would be better suited for mobile. So I'm switching on that, and if I save this file, because now it's a modeler file, and that's not ideal because I want to save it as a eco MDL file to get the separate files, and I'm gonna put it in a new folder. And then I'm gonna open that model directory. So now I can assume that this new view is the one that shows this new with a with this what do you call them? I forgot the name. Dropped it. Placing container. So if I copy that file into the server's running file, and are you sure you want to replace it? And in this case, I'm sure. And without disturbing or restarting the system in any way, if I refresh this, it should really be on as a placing container, but it wasn't. So let's see, view all. It was view one thing. So maybe I was unfocused here. View one thing. And reloading that, and now it's a placing container, so it will behave better when it's really tight, and that's good, and sort of a replica of the functionality that we had. But then another problem that we commonly came across was the server-side view models that we often use for automation of work, and where they were wrong, we really didn't have a good way to fix the issues with them. So and let's do a fast server-side view model here with this. I can add a new view model, and I'm gonna say it's rooted in thing, and I'm gonna add an action. And the server-side view models are executed whenever certain criteria are met. And what are the criteria? Well, we enable the criteria for server-side execute, and then we're able to enter the criteria that the server will execute on a periodic level. In this case 20 seconds. Let's make it faster, like 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds it will check some criteria. And what should the criteria be? It should be thing, all instances, and it should select the things that has some string, or we can say some integer equals to 10. So if some int is equal to 10, it has met the criteria to be handled by this server-side job. And this is new for everyone that wants to that hated the modality of the OCL editor. So if you check this box, this button turns to apply, and then you can leave without closing this, and that's good if you want to continue to work in multiple windows. Yeah, so when this criteria is met, it will execute this view model, then the server-side job. But what will it do? Well, it will push all actions in order from top to bottom. That's what a server-side job does. So we can put logic in a button like this, and then we go some string equals some string plus x, and I apply that. So for getting this into place, I need to upload a model, and I'm gonna do that now. So I'm heading over here. This step requires a restart of the system because this is a brand new server-side view model that we want to use. So I'm gonna upload the model, and I'm gonna also update the server-side jobs, which actually just updates the criteria for when things will run. And gonna see that the server is started. And having done that, nothing much happens here until the criteria is met. And now it's 10. I still haven't saved it, so I'm gonna save it. Now the criteria is met, and the server-side job apparently runs and adds an X on this string periodically. So, and the question was, how can we solve an update that someone after release said, well, you shouldn't add an X for some string every third 5 seconds. You should add a Y instead. Oh no, too bad. We have already released, and we can't restart the system without annoying users or having downtime. Even very short downtime, it will be some glitch in the system, so that we want to avoid. And then the same logic as with the MDriven server to replace view models, we have the same logic as on the MDriven turnkey server we have on the MDriven server. So let's first change the in the view model to a Y instead, and we save that, and heading over to the folder where we save our model. I'm gonna grab view model 1, copy that one, and then I'm heading over to where the server is. And this is the turnkey server, and that's not part of this, so I'm gonna go up here to server 1 and go down to the MDriven server, and in the app data it has the same strategy as the turnkey server with modular lean complete, and open that one and replace the view model 1 with this instead. And having done that, I would assume that yeah, all right, we get X's. Let's see. The general idea here is that the server-side job would yeah, maybe it actually needs to, so this is some of the quirks that I need to work out. Without restarting, we still wanted to discover this new file. So the general idea was, I'm just gonna check this. This action sum string, this is still X, so why is that? If I change it here, so now it reacts to, so I'm not sure why I failed to, maybe I didn't leave this field prior to change. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do Z instead, leaving that field, saving, and heading over to where my model is saved. Take the, now it's 1934 on this file, so I'm gonna take that one, and heading over to the server, which is the MDriven server, app data, and the model incomplete. That one was 1933, so I'm going to replace it, replace the destination, and then we're going to watch what happens on the running application. Not much. So it almost looks like it stopped, and then I'm gonna just shake it. So I'm going into the UI of this one, and what I do expect to see here, okay, okay, so it's actually doing the job, but it seems that we lost the updates. Okay, now it started by itself. Not sure what the delay was. Something with signal or maybe. So I'm gonna do a refresh here to see if I'm cleaning these away. Oops, hitting save. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with the update. We will need to check that. What we, of course, having the server-side jobs working in the background enables us to do things that aren't on screen. That's the whole point. So to show that, we can open this B1 as well and say that the criteria is met for that one as well, 10 in some int, and then both of these should have the criteria met, and one would assume that both were updated. I wonder why this is. Yeah, this is something new. I'm gonna refresh this one. So it's working, but it's not signaling. And think. Yeah, I don't know right now what that is. Yeah, well, basically we don't signal super often unless we say it's a real-time attribute. So we try to conserve the pushes from the detection for anything that isn't marked as a real-time attribute. So that's probably partly the reason. So if some string was a real-time attribute, we would say that by setting a tag value, marking it as real-time, and then we were to upload this model to let the servers know about the changed things. And now it's more to the point that it updates whenever or as fast as it see fit after the change occurs. So if I were to do this exercise once more, than to change this to an W, step away from the field, save it, head over to where the model is saved, take the view model 1, head over to where the expanded model for the MDriven server is, replace it, and head over to the application. I can see the immediate effect. So this is very good way to, but of course it's still a bit dangerous, and you shouldn't just do this light-hearted, because you can still disturb users big time doing the wrong thing. But it's more, it's a softer way to get changes into production than delivering the whole system. So that's why we call it SoftViews, and it's primarily for views and not necessarily for anything that changes the model in any way, changing the checksum, changing the schema of the database, etc. That's not what this is. It's the schema you have, the model you have, but expressed in slightly different ways in the views. And that actually takes you quite a bit down the road.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I wasn't aware that we could even do this on the server side. I thought it was, I mean, on the MDriven server, I thought it was purely a UI interface
Yeah.
thing.
It's shared logic. So the effect was that we could do it on the views as well, and that's good.
Does this mean that one could also change the access groups for a view, or is that something different?
Since the access groups on the view are located on the view itself here, the access expression definitely, the access groups I think as well, as long as you don't introduce new ones, just state that this shouldn't be and this should be. And
Because
yeah.
It wouldn't, I mean, you need then to be careful, but on the other hand, it means that you could also then fix security issues that you find or block or open pages that has been wrongly introduced, because it's happened, and that's a real mess. If the user finds out that they can't access a page they could before, and you need to fix it, so that would, in many cases, it would force a redeploy, which is what you don't want.
No. So it's always the trade-off. Of course, a redeploy is safer because it's safer in one perspective, because then everything is complete and designed together. But on the other hand, if you're redeploy in a hurry, you haven't tested it as much, you haven't let all the users see what has been done since the last time, and there are changes all over the place. So this is a good middle ground to pinpoint certain problem areas and just do those. And of course you should never, as I showed, edit the XML files straight on the server. You should work on your Git repository and have a full version history. And once you take those views and put them on the server for override, you have sort of just pre-delivered. This will be delivered the next time as well, but these views get ahead of time, get ahead of the delivery. So it sort of takes the edge of and the stress of finding out that some minor issue is wrong one day after the delivery has been done, and the new development, the new sprint has already started, and you can't really just redo the thing. Yes, I'm happy with this development, and it's very much DevOpsy, if that's a word. Of course, Daniel, you are the sole maintainer and service manager of your system, so you will find times when or just cue in a change when everyone's at lunch, or what's your strategy?
Well, I can actually kind of overwrite the running system because my own server is completely stateless. It has no memory from one request to another. So if I get the server for myself for like 30 seconds, I can swap out the server DLL and no one will be any wiser. The bug will just be gone the next time anyone asks for something.
Yeah.
And that's quite a deliberate design choice.
So these are all the challenges of DevOps that we should both have order delivery a few times a month maybe, but then we should be able to do small fixes that doesn't require attention from everyone. So it's a trade-off from security versus flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, my stateless server means I have to do a full authentication of everyone for every single call. That has a performance hit, for example. But, well, 14 years ago or whenever, 2007, that's more than 14 years, we began on this project. It was a simple way to get away with being able to kind of swap out the server under the feet of the user, so to speak, without them noticing. But these tools are, of course, much more modern now, so this seems to be a more flexible way of doing it. We have a very kind of brute force solution that was right back then, and well, now it's still okay for us, so we keep it that way.
Yeah. So good. That was the presentation of the SoftViews strategy on MDriven Server and MDriven Turnkey, and I think we will be available or enable us to sleep a little better at night, at least some nights. And also what I showed in this session was the new thing with the stay open OCL editor that allows us to have this state non-modal to be a little bit more efficient when you work.
Does that mean you can also then, you have like several of these stay open editors and they're like still editing what you opened them with?
No, so it doesn't work like that. If I were to open this one, it says the thing read-only expression, and if I were to write something here and press this button prior to pressing apply, it will ask me if I know what I'm doing. Do you want to apply the current edit prior to adding this new expression? And I would say yes. Then it would end up here, and the next thing I write is actually that expression. And if I move to this and press or doesn't need to move, but if I press this button, whoa, do you want to apply this current edit before? Yes. And if I do something here and press apply and then do something here, it doesn't ask, because then it seems that I know what I'm doing.
Okay. This seems to be a better solution than when the thing I was asking, because I was seeing a nightmare scenario there when I had like 10.
Yes, so there's only one that you can place centrally to your edit area, and there's the sub expression if you want to do something quick to check some expression without switching focus. So that brings up a new one, and I think that's still modal. At least I think it is. Yeah. No, maybe not. Okay, I don't know. But that's not meant to do anything. It's just a scratch pad for finding stuff out. Good.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I think that's it for tonight. So thank you for showing up. Now we'll make a video of this so that we have it for the future.
For more viewers than me.
Yeah.
Well, it was news to me too, actually, a lot of it. So even we inside MDriven learn on these evenings.
Yeah. Good.
Very well.
Thank you very much then.
Yeah,
Have
thank
a good
you.
night all.
Good night all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.